we chose to work with Lex because of the work that he'd done on a Kill Switch Engage video.
I definitely was familiar with As I Lay Dying's music videos previous, and we were hoping to do something a little bit different with this video in terms of look and feel and story-wise.
There's a line in Through Struggle that talks about a machine-like chest and all these very mechanical bits of imagery. So to me, the concept of the video was obvious. It was just, there was only one concept that would fit it, because if you read the lyrics, it's like, that's what it has to be. I was very opinionated on it. So instead of, it was kind of backwards. It was kind of like, hey, let's find a director who we think will be able to work well with this idea I already have in mind. And Lex had a lot of ambition and really did a great job casting, particularly the old man that plays kind of like the crazy yet halfway genius guy.
The general concept of the video actually came from Tim. He had an idea about somebody building a mechanical heart, sort of a hermit character. So we got to talking about it and sort of developed the story a little bit more as to sort of what he's doing in his workshop, and having the band play just outside the window, so he's kind of peering through the cracks and seeing them play. And then sort of building into the final ending where we sort of reveal that it's a mechanical heart, and that it's actually built for him. He has the hole in his heart that we see him reveal when he pulls off his smocks.
He was there hours before we ever got there. We showed up on the shoot, and it was everything that I had in mind for that concept in that video was already taking place in much grander and greater scale than I would have been able to envision.
I definitely wanted to approach the video a little bit differently. Like, I wanted more of a cinematic feel. More sort of locked off shots, or like very slow, smooth dolly moves, that type of thing. The guys bring so much energy to the screen. I didn't feel it was necessary to really create a really hectic feel to the video itself. I wanted it a little bit more like a mini movie with the guys involved, and then to let them do their performing and bring the energy to the screen rather than me try to kind of create it through camera moves and whatnot. And I think it worked out great. I don't even think it needed that sort of feel or that energy, because they just came and totally nailed it.
We did it in this old meat packing. It was like an old slaughterhouse or meat packing house. And anyways, when you walked in there, you can't see this in the video, but there were like meat hooks all along the ceiling on tracks where they just used to hang meat, and it was downstairs and it was condensed. There was no air, and there wasn't a lot of ventilation. So I went down there and I felt really, really awkward. And the area of the room that we shot in, they had filmed a horror movie or something down there a couple days before, or a week before, and there was fake blood all over the wall. And I was just like, dude, this is kind of creepy. And so they sprayed it down, and that's why if you watch the Through Struggle video, the ground that we're standing on is all wet, because they had to spray all the fake blood off of the wall. But for me, what I remember most is just feeling really kind of claustrophobic and awkward, knowing that used to be an old slaughterhouse or slaughter room, and I don't know, and there just wasn't a lot of space in there.
The actual location where the hermit is building the heart is an actual meat locker. That's what it used to be, is a meat locker. That's where you get sort of the corrugated steel along the edges, and we just totally transformed it. We brought in all the production design and kind of built it, with stacks of books and sort of medical equipment and tools, rusty old tools, that sort of thing.
But it was really creepy, just crusty place, It was just and it was just kind of musty smelling, you know what I mean? Like you're in a basement or something like that hasn't been cleaned in a while, It's very musty smelling.
It was definitely blazing hot in there for a good amount of the time.
The band space also was in the same meatpacking plant. We sort of affixed those fluorescent tubings along the wall and put them on flickers, and sort of built them into the space. So it didn't just feel like a really raw space, but had a little bit of something going on in it texture-wise and something color-wise, to really make it pop and make it interesting and kind of connect the two spaces together. When I actually came to edit the video, I edited with my editor, Russell Lichter, and we sat down and we sort of came to it a little bit different approach than what you sometimes see. I really wanted to kind of highlight pieces of the narrative at certain points and have it build kind of in pacing of what's going on, intercutting with the band performance. Sometimes editors sort of just cut straight band performance and then they just kind of throw in the pieces of the narrative where it fits best. I actually like to work a little bit of the other way around. There's really specific parts of the narrative, things happening that I want to be at certain places, you know, whether it's him welding or holding up the heart or, you know, that type of thing I have preconceived ahead of time. So when we go into the edit, I kind of lay all those pieces in with my editor into the appropriate places, and then we take all our selects, all the really cool moments that we feel work really well from the band performance, and sort of lay them in underneath that. So it's kind of mixing of the two, but we're definitely really specific as to like what's happening when type of thing with the narrative. It's not an afterthought, in other words.
It was unique because when we actually saw, you know, the guy with a hole in his chest, you know, it was like a green screen. We couldn't even see how it's going to turn out. We didn't know. I hope it doesn't look cheesy. You know, it didn't look like a video game. You know, we had no idea. So actually seeing the full process come out and seeing the final cut of the video, it was super exciting to turn out exactly the way that we wanted it to come out.
I was just really hoping to combine a really cool narrative with great band performance, you know, and having them work together, not be two totally different elements where we just see the band performing and then the guy building the heart. We want to connect them in a way through looking through the vents and tie them together. And I think it worked out really well in this video. We're all really stoked with it.